In late October 2025, people across America are talking into their phones. They are documenting what it feels like when the ordinary machinery of survival starts to fail. One woman records herself walking through a grocery store. She spends $47. She shows the camera 3 apples, 2 chicken breasts, under a pound of turkey meat, a pound of American cheese, some spring mix, a loaf of bread, and seltzer water. She films it because she needs someone to witness that this is real. She tells her phone that $50 buys almost nothing now. She asks how families with children are supposed to eat like this. Another creator opens their electric bill on camera and sees $300. They log into online banking and search back to last year. Same time, same usage. Last year it was $200. They tell their viewers the difference isn't air conditioner settings or personal habits. The difference is a budget that passed in Washington. They say politicians knew it would raise costs. They passed it anyway. A woman responds to someone who asked what people did with last month's food stamps. The question implied waste or mismanagement. This woman films from her mobile home on the side of a mountain. She tells the camera she has lived there since 1997. She talks about her husband, who developed an autoimmune disease during his service. He died after years of dialysis. The VA hospital sat 3 hours away. She explains to viewers that she received a maximum of $293 a month in SNAP benefits. She says she tried to stock up on meat because you can always get potatoes cheap. Or you can look for change in parking lots. You can check under drive-through windows. She describes siphoning gas from a lawnmower to put in her car. She grows gardens in old tires. She trades one junk car for another just to get through. She tells the woman who questioned food stamp recipients that she hopes she chokes on her toast. On October 28th, someone in Durango, Colorado films as ICE removes 2 minor children from a facility. The creator documents them being transported to Texas away from their parents. They show community members forming a blockade. They capture ICE using pepper spray and gas to break through. The person behind the camera says into their phone that we are not angry enough. They say a mother just lost her children. They say people were gassed trying to protect them. They ask their viewers why we claim to care about children, but won't actually protect them. Days later, a creator in Houston and Pasadena reports into their camera that ICE is shutting off electricity to homes where families are sheltering. They tell viewers these families have newborns. They have babies and 1-year-olds. The creator explains that ICE is using the heat and humidity as a weapon. They are forcing people out of their homes. This person tells their audience they're tired of seeing people just record when they could help. They say if someone else is already filming, you should put your phone away. They tell viewers directly, use your privilege as an actual shield for somebody. They remind everyone watching that it's more of us than there is of them. An 80-year-old man who identifies himself as a Navy veteran talks into his phone. He tells viewers he was part of the blockade during the Cuban Missile Crisis. He says he's seen a lot over the years, but never anything like this. He explains that Kennedy and Khrushchev had level heads that prevailed. He tells his audience we don't have those level heads now. He describes how the Secretary of Defense has called all generals and admirals stationed around the world. They have to come to Washington. He tells viewers he believes this is a loyalty check. He says the president has ordered National Guard to Portland. They have authorization to use full force if necessary. He looks at his camera and says he immediately thinks of Kent State. May 4th, 1970. He reminds viewers that the National Guard killed 4 students protesting the Vietnam War. He asks what happens if they do that again. What if troops who are our neighbors and family members are ordered to gun down their own neighbors and relatives? Multiple creators are posting about 42 million people waiting to see if SNAP benefits will reload on November 1st. They are waiting to see if they'll be able to eat next week. One person tells their camera that's 1 in every 8 people in this country. Creator explains to their viewers that USDA has a $6 billion contingency fund. They say it exists specifically for that kind of emergency, but they tell their audience that Republicans are refusing to use it. Congress already approved it. The administration is blocking it. They say this is illegal because SNAP is an entitlement program. Another creator posts a video saying that people's food benefits are going to run out, and it is entirely at the hands and feet of the Republicans. They tell viewers there's not a single way to spin this in any other direction. They explain there is a contingency fund set specifically for the scenario. If the government is shut down, we use this money to pay for these people's food benefits. They say Congress has already signed off on this. They tell their audience that Republicans looked at this and said no. Despite this shutdown being 100% on the Republicans, this other side thing does not have to happen. The creator says it's going to happen because of the Republican administration. They tell viewers that Republicans are relying entirely on their misinformation campaign. They want their base to believe that Democrats are causing people to go hungry in America. The creator says into their phone, and it's working because people aren't paying attention. Meanwhile, someone who works in healthcare posts a video about helping her 69-year-old mother set up new Wi-Fi. She tells her followers she had to look through her phone photos to find the old password. Instead, she found screenshot after screenshot of Facebook misinformation memes. She shows her camera an article about SNAP cuts. Immediately after is a meme saying if you're upset about SNAP being cut, blame Democrats for wanting to give healthcare to illegal aliens. She tells viewers through tears that these are the people who raised her to be generous. They would give anyone anything. She says to her camera that she's greeting people who are still alive. She tells her audience she's running out of things to talk to them about. Everything is controversial. She explains that she wants desperately for there to be one scripture verse or one video. something that would flip a switch, something that would let them see they're not living like the Christ they raised her to love. She tells viewers directly, they're hurting real people with their beliefs. They're hurting me. Creator posts a video, framing this through the lens of an abusive relationship. They define for viewers what financial abuse is: controlling finances, stealing money, or coercing someone into debt. They explain economic abuse as that financial abuse plus controlling other resources. Resources like housing, food, transportation, and employment. They tell their audience the government is exerting power on purpose. They are threatening the American people by saying, just remember who feeds you. The creator says that is what is going on here. They predict directly to camera that on October 31st, Trump will make himself out to be the hero. Everyone will have SNAP benefits again madly. But they tell viewers we need to see through this. They say we still need to rise up. They tell their audience about a mass blackout from November 25th to December 2nd. They mention the Big Beautiful boycott. They say into their phone, we cannot let our foot up off the gas. We are not going to sit and take this abuse. Another creator explains in their video that right now America is using communities as leverage. They list for viewers the top 3 groups whose pain carries the most weight. The military, men and women risking their lives for a nation that's withholding their paychecks to make a political point. They tell their camera that nothing says broken priorities louder than using soldiers as bargaining chips. Families on SNAP, parents standing in grocery aisles trying to stretch $0 in benefits because power brokers would rather let children go hungry than compromise. They say to their audience, that's not leadership. That's cruelty for leverage. Federal workers, the backbone of everything that still functions. The creator explains they're required to show up without pay while politicians collect theirs. They tell viewers these 3 groups represent what's best about this country: service, sacrifice, and everyday responsibility. That's what makes their exploitation the most shameful kind of leverage there is. The creator says into their camera that it isn't gridlock. It's governance by hostage. They've turned compassion into collateral. They tell their audience that books reveal values, and right now the values are off. They suggest to viewers that if they're using pain as currency, let's make that currency worthless. They say if they're playing politics with hunger, then feeding each other becomes rebellion. The creator tells their camera there are 7 financially strong families for every one family on SNAP benefits. 7 to 1. They say we have young military service members being disrespected in ways that make any proud American feel shame. They tell their viewers it wouldn't take much for us to stand in the gap until our government straightens its moral compass. They say directly to camera, we are not leverage. Someone posts about millennials dying at astronomically high rates for their age. They introduce to their viewers a concept they call polite poverty. They explain this is when you're working hard and have some social resources. Family and friends keep you from being desperately poor. If you don't have enough to build wealth, you don't have enough for basic caretaking. They list for their camera things like going to the doctor regularly or buying a new toothbrush, eating enough vegetables, heating your house adequately, buying new shoes. They tell their audience these things add up to physical and emotional illness. They lead to early death. This creator describes to viewers spending all of their 20s asking their father for a dentist visit as a Christmas gift. They explain that dental care has been their biggest financial drain. It's the main reason they've never been able to save money. They show their camera gold teeth. They tell viewers it's not decoration. Gold crowns break less than porcelain. They explain they were breaking so many porcelain crowns they couldn't afford to replace them anymore. They say to their phone, metal teeth are actually an indication of poverty, not wealth. They tell their audience that at the center of this phenomenon is a poverty of hope. There has been absolutely no evidence in our lifetimes that we should be hopeful. They say our elders tell us we're not working hard enough. They hoard their wealth or spend it on things they don't need. The creator says we can't afford the things we need. Another person posts about growing up extremely poor. They tell viewers their father was a disabled military veteran who could only work part-time. They explain disability benefits have work hour restrictions. They describe for their camera how their father would take the hose from the dryer and pipe it into the bathroom. That gave them a warm place to get ready for school in the mornings. They tell their audience he would dig a hole in the backyard and build a fire. He would heat water in a metal shop vac barrel. Then he would carry that hot metal barrel into the house. He would pour it into the bathtub so his child could have a hot bath before school. The creator says into their phone, if you think parents aren't already doing everything they can to support their children, you're absolutely wrong. They tell viewers that not one single child asked to be in that situation. Not one single parent wanted their child to suffer. They say it's disgusting and cruel and immoral that we're playing with the idea of stranding people without food. They explain that rich politicians have never had to wash clothes in cold water by hand. They've never had to skip dinner to feed their children. But they get to decide that people can't eat. Someone records themselves walking into CVS. They tell their camera they saw a woman put a box of tampons in her purse. The woman looked around to see if she could get away with stealing it. The creator explains they walked over quietly and offered to buy them for her. They describe how the woman was scared. She thought she was in trouble. She offered to pay back via Cash App at the end of the week. The creator tells their viewers the woman said she is to prioritize food right now. They say to their camera that's a crazy thing to have to hear. It's even crazier to have to say out loud. They tell their audience that something half the population literally has to have should not be treated as a luxury. Multiple creators post videos pointing out that SNAP benefits don't cover hygiene products. They list for viewers no toilet paper or tampons, no soap or shampoo or deodorant. The Explain Snap also doesn't cover hot prepared meals. One person tells their camera that a rotisserie chicken at Kroger is $7. That's cheaper than buying and cooking a raw chicken yourself. Another creator says a Domino's carryout pizza is $7.99. It will feed 3 people. But they explain to viewers that people on Snap can't use their benefits for these things. A creator who works in healthcare asks their audience, do we think people on benefits don't deserve convenience? Don't deserve dignity? Don't deserve rest? They tell their camera, do we not think keeping your foot on the neck of a person is appalling? They explain to their followers that Snap restrictions are designed to make survival as uncomfortable as possible. No hot meals for someone working 2 jobs with an hour between shifts. No time to go home and cook. The creator tells viewers they have to choose between not eating or spending cash they don't have or buying only approved cold foods. They say the message embedded in these restrictions is clear. You don't deserve convenience. You don't deserve dignity. You don't deserve rest. Your poverty should be as uncomfortable as possible. The creator asks their one question for the billionaire class into their camera. Wages are not going to go up if we are not going to be paid more. In fact, if you are actually going to pay us less. But the price of everything keeps increasing because you need to generate a profit. What is the end game? They tell their viewers these people know the system in place is a snake eating itself. They know this isn't sustainable. Eventually, nobody will be able to afford anything. The creator explains that will impact the wealthy class too. They will not be able to maintain their lifestyles. They say to their phone, this is not a problem so far down the road that nobody needs to pay attention. The issue is here right now. Someone responds with a video pointing out that 3 men have as much money as 165 million Americans. They explain to their audience that a million seconds is 11 days. A billion is 31 years. A trillion is 31,000 years. They tell viewers when you put that in money terms, it's wealth most of us cannot even comprehend. They don't even pay taxes on any of it. But the creator says people would rather worry about the poor person down the street getting a few $100 a month for groceries. They call out to their camera what they term bootlicking class traders who have been successfully propagandized by the oldest trick in the book. The oppressors get you to look anywhere but up. They tell their viewers, your hate makes you easy to manipulate. That's the biggest inhibitor to class consciousness. They say we could all have everything we need just by taxing these obscenely rich people. They could solve homelessness and hunger with a strike of a pen. But they refuse to. They only seek to hoard more wealth. Someone else posts breaking down how if you've ever defaulted on a payment because there's not enough money in your bank account, their solution is to charge you more money that is not in your bank account. They ask their viewers who invented that. What is the actual name of the person who decided that financial precarity should be punishable? That you should be charged money for not having money? Another creator points out to their audience that Walmart is triple dipping into tax dollars. They explain to their camera that Walmart intentionally hires people on SNAP benefits so they get a tax break. Taxpayers fund that. Then they don't pay their employees enough to get off SNAP. They get to suppress wages and pocket the difference. The creator tells viewers that taxpayers pay for their employees to eat. Because they operate as a grocery store, everybody on EBT benefits shops there. They get to pocket tax dollars again. The creator says when people talk about fraud and abuse in SNAP, they should be talking about corporations, not the single parent trying to buy their kid a birthday cake. Creator posts from downtown LA about getting dinner with a friend. They tell their camera they couldn't help but notice that on every single exit to get onto the freeways, there were police cruisers. At least 2 cars with their lights on. They explain to viewers why that might be. On June 14th, protesters stormed the freeways. They stopped the veins of the city in the most effective form of protest they ever managed. The creator tells their audience that as people go forward with organizing, they want everyone to remember something. The one thing the system will not tolerate is people on the freeways, stopping the veins of the city from flowing. They explain when you stop the veins, you stop the workers from getting to their jobs. You stop the trucks from getting to their locations. You stop everything. When people can't move, they start to ask why. The creator says to their camera that is a dangerous question, almost as dangerous as standing on the freeway. They tell viewers, if you know what's good for you, stay off the freeways. But they're explaining exactly why freeway protests are so effective that the state is deploying massive resources to prevent them. Another creator proposes to their audience what they call a hypothetical. What if the government shutdown never ends? What if that's actually the plan? What if the goal is to finally hand the entire country over to corporations? They tell their camera that politicians would call it saving America. FedEx and UPS takes over the mail system. Private security takes over law enforcement. Prisons are already privately owned. Pharmaceutical companies completely take over healthcare. Defense contractors take over the military. The creator explains we're already on this track. This would just accelerate the process. They ask viewers, what if this is a defining moment in history that we are living through right now? What if America, as we know, it is never going to be the same? What if we are entering the age of corporate rule? They tell their camera, what if the dystopian future where corporations rule everything wasn't just a movie trope? What if it was always foreshadowing? What if corporate control is a natural and inevitable conclusion of capitalism? They describe for their audience a nation that operates under terms of service agreements instead of laws. You break the terms of service and you lose access to the system. True corporate control, where you will no longer even really be a citizen of America. The creator says you'll be a member of a corporate conglomerate formerly known as America. Someone posts asking why citizens still have to pay taxes when the government is shut down, and tons of people we rely on aren't getting paid. Another person posts what they describe as speaking on behalf of all the kind character-based people in the blue states. They say into their camera, "We want a divorce," on the grounds of irreconcilable differences. And no-fault divorce. They tell viewers we had 249 years together before you elected a wannabe dictator to take over. They say no blame here, it's a no-fault divorce. You go your way, we'll go our way. But bitterness breaks through as they continue. Another creator posts directly addressing a different audience. They say you might be Christians, but you're under attack, just not the way you think. Not Starbucks cups, not happy holidays, not whether someone says Merry Christmas loud enough. They tell their camera that everyday men in uniforms pile out of trucks dragging away hardworking Christian roofers and carpenters. Babies ripped from the arms of Christian mothers and locked in cages. Starved, stripped of their faith, told they cannot pray, told their Bibles are contraband. The creator says that is the attack on Christianity, and you're silent. They explain to viewers, when you said Christian, you didn't mean them. You forgot Latinos are predominantly Christian. You forgot the brown faces who cross themselves before they eat, who whisper prayers at night, who raise their children on hymns older than your flag. The creator tells their audience, you forgot, or worse, you choose not to see. They say you shout Merry Christmas like it's holy war. But every time you cheer for the cages, every time you praise the strong man who breaks the commandments daily, you are not defending Christianity. You are waging war against it. They tell their camera there are two kinds of Christians in this country. There are the Jesus-like Christians, the ones who feed the hungry, heal the sick, wash feet, turn cheeks, love neighbors. And then there are you, Christians weighing war against the Jesus-like Christians. The creator reminds viewers of the death story. The devil whispered to Jesus, "Bow down and I'll give you dominion." Jesus said no, but you say yes, over and over again. They tell their audience, the test you think you're passing, you are failing loudly, spectacularly. One day your own children will read the book you claim to love. They will see set the captives free, do not lie, do not steal, do not take the Lord's name in vain. They will look at you and ask, why did you cheer for cages? Why did you call the man who mocked God your savior? The creator says, in that moment you'll realize the truth. It was never the atheists. It was never the Muslims. It was never the liberals or the leftists. The war on Christianity has always been waged by Christians like you against Christians like Christ. They tell their camera, Christians are under attack in this country, and you are the ones doing the attacking. Creator tells their viewers that 40+ million Americans are anxiously sitting at home waiting to find out if their food stamps will reload in the next couple of days. 40 million souls are waiting to see if they'll be able to eat next week. They say that's 1 in every 8 people in this country. They tell their audience they want people to really look around. Look at your community. Look at the businesses in your community. Look at the churches in your community. Ask yourself, do they care? The creator says into their phone, if this moment doesn't make it clear, then nothing will. If next week comes and those benefits don't hit, people will be waking up hungry, walking to work on empty stomachs, standing behind counters cooking food for others while they can't afford a meal for themselves. They ask viewers to imagine a mother who works the morning shift at McDonald's. She's serving breakfast to hundreds and hundreds of people, but she can't even bring home a breakfast sandwich for her child to eat. The creator tells their camera to imagine a young man working late at Domino's, delivering pizzas all night long, but he hasn't eaten in 2 days. They say that's what the system creates. Humans being used up by machines that never stop. They explain to their audience that these fast food corporations, these stores, these delivery chains have made millions off our hunger. They fed off the same neighborhoods that they drained. Every McDonald's, every Taco Bell, every Dollar General has made a fortune on the very backs of people who are on the edge of starvation right now. The creator asks, but what happens when people start going hungry for real? Nothing. No free meals, no community programs, no compassion, nothing. No humanity, just business as usual. They tell viewers these companies will watch you starve before they give you a free burger. They'll throw away the food every night before they give it to the people outside of their doors. Because to them, hunger is an opportunity. Desperation is leverage. It keeps you obedient, compliant, and easy to manage. The creator says we can't forget the churches either. They ask their audience how many of our people give 10% of their paycheck every week, every month, every year to these churches. For years, how many people have donated to building funds, to parking lots, sound systems, the pastor's anniversary, all in the name of the storehouse? They tell their camera, but look around. Where's the storehouse when people are hungry? Where's the feeding center? Where's the open doors? So many people have been paying their tithes faithfully and consistently. Shouldn't the church be able to help the community in times like these? But most of them won't. They'll preach faith while ignoring the famine. They'll pray for bread instead of providing it. The creator says, because they too have become a part of the same machine. Someone tells their camera that's the part most people don't want to admit. This machine does not have a conscience. It doesn't care about life. It doesn't care about you. It only cares about extraction. They explain to their viewers it will take from you until there's nothing left to take. They'll drain your body, your spirit, your time, your energy, your money, your hope, and still turn around and tell you that you are the problem. That's how it keeps running. The creator says it feeds off of guilt, off of need, off of dependency. If we let it, it will exploit us to infinity and beyond. They tell their audience there is no finish line for the system. There's no point where it says we've taken enough. It would rather watch the world burn than stop feeding itself. Because the machine can't stop. It doesn't know how. It's not built to stop. It's built to consume. The Creator says to their phone, but we are not machines. We are people. At some point, we have to decide that enough is enough. They tell viewers we have to remember what real community means. Not this fake version where we only come together on holidays or times of tragedy. A real living community where we can depend on each other the same way that we've depended on the system. Because this system has been our God for too long. The Creator explains we pray to it every payday. We sacrifice to it every month when the rent's due. We worship its convenience and comfort while it feeds on our time and our lives. They tell their camera, we forgot that nature fed us long before Walmart did. We forgot that we fed each other long before the government did. We forgot that real wealth is in the soil, in the seeds, in the hands of the people, not the CEOs. They say if the system stopped feeding us, then maybe it's time for us to feed ourselves. If the corporations close their doors, then maybe we should open ours. If the churches stay silent, then maybe we should build new temples with the people. The Creator tells their audience this is what real awakening looks like. Seeing the illusion for what it really is, and choosing to build something real instead. They say the collapse isn't a punishment. It's a revelation. It's showing us what is fake and what was never love in the first place. These businesses don't care. These politicians don't care. These churches, most of them don't care. They only love you when you're buying, when you're tithing, when you're paying. The moment you stop feeding the machine, it stops pretending to love you. The Creator says maybe that's the blessing in disguise. Maybe this is the moment where we wake up and realize that we were holding all the power all along. They tell viewers, once we depend on each other again, once we depend on the earth again, once we start feeding off nature instead of from the machine, we'll see that we were never powerless. We just forgot. Multiple creators are posting about therapy and medication and exercise. Doing all the right things, but still feeling like what's the point? Someone tells their camera they've been in therapy for 15 years. They go weekly. They've tried medication. They work out multiple times a week. They eat well. They have friends. But they explain to viewers that none of that outweighs the fundamental problems. They list them for their audience. 500,000 Palestinians genocided. Climate change reaching a point by 2040 where there's nothing we can do. Microplastics in everyone's bodies with unknown effects. The richest people getting away with any crime. Struggling to pay rent forever. A university cutting class levels, which might cost them their job. They're accounting mayor-facing offshoring and AI replacement, even though that was supposed to be the safe, boring option. They tell their phone, therapy and pills can't fix these things. You have to fundamentally fix the problem. You can't just keep throwing rocks at the surface. They say they don't think we will ever be able to address the fundamentals. 58-year-old posts that they've worked their entire life and have nothing. They tell their camera their car failed emissions. It needs a $2,000 repair they can't afford. They say they buried their youngest child a year and a half ago. They tell viewers they miss their son and they hate his life. Someone else posts that they're so deeply entrenched in the awfulness of the place. They explain to their camera that the only thing stopping them from exiting is having to pay bills. And having brought their son into this world. So they're staying to try to make it less shitty for him. Hoping he ends up being one of the ones who likes it here. They say that would almost make it worth it. Another creator tells their viewers they spent $40 at the grocery store to get 6 things. Chicken salad and eggs and berries, and spinach and broccoli. They say to their phone, that's not normal. None of this is normal. They explain that Gen Z is now the most unhappy demographic. It used to be older people. It used to be boomers. Now it's us, because our eyes have been opened. We see how messed up everything is. They tell their camera they're scrolling TikTok, watching the demise of this country and this world. In between that, seeing Get Ready With Me videos. Outfit of the day posts. They ask what is the point of any of it. Someone posts about going into public places like Walmart. They tell their audience they're struggling like all hell to act normal. The same way everybody around them, seemingly, is acting normal and sane. They describe finding themselves going through the motions. Struggling not to just stop in the middle of the store and crash out in front of everybody. They explain to their camera it's a response to feeling dehumanized for such a long period of time. Not having any needs met. Being sick and tired of acting like everything going on in this world is just okay and normal. They ask viewers how we're still allowing this. How people are still motivated to keep going to their jobs. Play pretend. Be somebody they're not. Just for the end of the week to come around and not be able to pay their bills. They tell their phone they're absolutely exhausted and burnt out. They genuinely feel like they can't do it anymore. They don't see themselves living this way for another 50 years. Creator says to their camera, this is the wake-up call. They don't give a fuck about us. But we can. We can care about us. And that's how we win. Someone else addresses their viewers directly, saying this is for the people who can see right through the matrix. Right through all the bullshit of what we're all currently trapped in. These are the things people are saying right now. Today, in their own words, from their own lives, into their phones, holding up receipts and pointing at numbers, asking questions nobody seems able to answer. These transcripts from the week in late October, these voices from TikTok, these stories aggregated here. Recombined, they're asking what the point is, what the end game is, whether anyone cares, whether anything will ever get better. They're documenting children being taken, people being gassed, electricity being shut off, bills they can't pay, food they can't afford. They're talking about wanting to clock out permanently, but still showing up to work. They're talking about heating water in metal barrels over fires so their kids can take hot baths. They're talking about picking up change from parking lots, siphoning gas from lawnmowers, breaking porcelain crowns because they can't afford to keep replacing them. They're saying we are not angry enough. They're also saying they're so tired they're not sad anymore. Just pissed. They're saying use your privilege as a shield. They're saying it's more of us than there is of them. They're saying help somebody. They're saying feed each other. They're saying stop the veins. They're saying make their currency worthless. They're saying we are not leverage. They're saying we forgot that we fed each other long before the government did. They're saying once we depend on each other again, we'll see that we were never powerless. We just forgot. This is what creators are posting in October 2025. This is America through their phone cameras. This is the moment before something breaks or something builds. This is the archive of voices saying we can't do this anymore. And also saying we'll do it for each other. These are the receipts they're holding up. These are their words. Captured here, arranged by someone watching, synthesized with help, presented now, these voices from the edge of something.